the Eagles that's enabled them to make this leap this season? I mean, they're a playoff team last year.
Yeah, well, I think that they got a great scheme on both sides of the ball, really in all three phases, and they've added some pieces this year, and it's really helped them. And I think that a lot of their great players are playing at a really great level. I mean, you look no further than they're led by Jalen Hurts, and I mean he's playing at an MVP type level. And but collectively, I'd say all three phases, offensively and defensively, this is one of the top units in the National Football League, respectively, in that area. So it's a great challenge for us. I think when you combine that with really good scheme, you get a really good team, and they've been able to consistently do that. And we all know how hard it is to win on a weekly basis in this league, and I know they've had a few close games, but bottom line is they're finding a way to come out on top, and that's what it's all about, and they've done a great job with that.
Seems to run around quarterbacks a little bit this year like Fields, but do you see as many called quarterback runs as they do with Hurts than anyone else?
Yeah, they do a really good job with him, and he does a great job of, whether it's called or not, of extending plays when it's not called, and then executing them when they are called. And he's a guy that doesn't look at the first slight of another color opponent jersey that he's going to slide. He's going to try to either make you miss or shoot. I've seen him lower his shoulder, and it's a fine line, because that's always an obstacle when you're playing a guy like that could slide down late, or he hits the gas and goes down the sidelines. You just got to be super disciplined in your approach to that, and never assume, and be able to pull off when he does slide. So he presents a ton of challenges for any defense, both in the pocket, both out of the pocket. He's got obviously a lot of weapons around him to throw the ball to, and those guys have been performing at a really high level.
You faced him back in 2020. I'm sure there's been all sorts of progress, but what stands out over those 2 years?
Well, I mean, that was like his first real game action. So I'd say that he's matured quite a bit. I think they've got a better team around him as well. Collectively as a whole, this is one of the top offensive lines in the National Football League. They've got 3 stud receivers. The backs are really productive. So it is a complete unit. And they do a good job of just presenting some run-pass conflicts, from an offensive standpoint.
Matt, do you think Romeo has... Matt, when you look at this Eagles defense, they've racked up a ton of sacks and a bunch of interceptions. Just what's your approach, going into that when they played that way the bulk of the year?
Yeah, no, it's a complete unit. You look at every level of their defense. They've got star players. Certainly on the defensive line, they've added 3 guys in the middle of the season, which is a little rare. But it's a defense that can really run. I think that they play their scheme extremely well. Obviously, the 2 corners on the outside are a really, really good combo, and they know that they can count on the pass rush getting home, so they can be a little bit more aggressive in certain situations. And I think that's a lot of the reason why they've had so many picks. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's been a great addition to them. And we got to see him up close and personal, and when we practiced against the Saints, and he's a guy that we got a ton of respect for. And I think he's playing at a really high level. He's one of the better safeties in the league. So they just got a complete unit, and I think they got a really sound scheme. I think they do enough to keep you off balance and keep you guessing from an offensive standpoint. But they're able to generate pressure with 4 or whether they're playing 5 down linemen or 4, they're able to generate pressure in that way, and that kind of opens you up a little bit, and to be able to make, the more people you got in coverage, the easier it is to cover people up and get those interceptions.
On the road to victory, EA Eagles!